Welcome to the second half of the show. This is the pulse here on Joy News. Now, it's becoming deadly out there as rampaging gunmen target and kill over what no one else is sure of yet. But the gruesome murder of two off-duty police officers has left the community of Block Factory at East Trasacco here in the Greater Accra region in fear. The Ghana police says a manhunt is underway to arrest the perpetrators who fled on a motorbike. My colleague Marcel Agbagba has been to the community all day and he joins me in studio. Marcel, so what did you uncover?
Well, quite disturbing. The details that we've been learning, quite disturbing. This community we're talking about, Block Factory, is just some meters away from the motorway. So when you're driving on your right-hand side, just less than 50 meters away, you find that sprawling.
Of the main Accra-Tema motorway?
Yes,
okay.
So you find the community East Trasacco, where quite a number of people, live. And there's a place where the mode blocks, so I'm just assuming that that's why they named the community,
right.
Block Factory. And this is where the police officer actually lived. And we're learning that, in fact, 3 of them lived in that house. But on the day of the incident, that's on Thursday, sometime around 6 p.m., it was just 2 of them who were seated on a bench in front of that house.
All right.
So that was when we were told that the unknown gunmen, so that's the bench, where they usually sit, during the evening, just to have conversation and also catch up with what.
And so this is where they sat last night?
This is where they sat last night, having conversation amongst themselves. And then that's the building there. And then the gunmen pulled over, fired, and then ran away. What we were told was that the 2 officers who were seated on the bench, one of them actually tried running back onto the compound, but he fell unconscious. And on the compound, when the blood on the compound was still visible. The blood was still splattered there, on the floor. We were told that he died instantly. One of the co-tenants told me that he was hit in the arm and then also on the head. So he died instantly. The second police officer, we are told, tried fleeing the scene. So he tried crossing the motorway, but he was unable to do so. Fell in the grass that's just some meters away.
Because he had been shot earlier and was trying to run away.
Exactly. So what we are learning was it wasn't just 1, 2, 3 gunshots. It came in rapid succession. And so they were hit at a point, but they tried to flee, but they were not successful. They couldn't survive it. What we are learning also is that right after the shooting, the unknown gunmen who were on a motorbike were able to flee easily because, the motorway was just right by their side. So it was easy for them to...
And I guess at the time, everybody was afraid to even get closer.
Exactly. So one of the co-tenants who we spoke to told me that she was in a room when he heard the gunshots in rapid succession. So she came outside and then saw the chaos that was happening, but nobody could get close because at the time, the gunmen were still around. Some children, some disturbing information we are learning is that some children who were playing actually saw everything, how everything panned out, which is quite disturbing. I'm told these are children about 5 years, but they were probably spared because they were young. If they were to be adults, then
it would have been a different story.
It would have been a different story altogether. We are also learning about the police officers that one of them is actually a bodyguard of a member of parliament. And I was told the member of parliament who is the bodyguard of, but we're not putting it out because we've not independently verified that yet. We're told that there were 3 of them who live in that house. The number could have been 3 because usually the 3 of them would sit outside there on that bench having conversation. But the 3rd officer, we are told, had traveled at the time. So we're just left with 2 of them who were seated outside there having that conversation, when the incident happened. I've been speaking to a brother of one of the deceased policemen. He's related to him. He said he comes from the same hometown and he calls him as a brother. The last time he saw him, one of the officers, was 29th April. And he had just come to visit him when the incident happened. So we can hear him and then hear what he has to say.
Me papa penny ba. Me papa penny ba.
And no one even asking me.
No na me ko nduma. Me po me twam aba 632 dawe. Me twam na what ase. Te me hu na che that was 29th April. 29 February and I'm home. My own the Ayana say, I said, no, get ban ho. They are one time P. They are my friend phone so can a man in a casa. The Tuesday and I'm a friend. I'm again, one and I was maybe I said that Ben again with coffee. No, so Wednesday. Was okay, and remember Tuesday now you break. I paid drink Bianca, made the man and now farm again and on coffee. For drink, no member, no maybe if my father drink, and to draw me who know. Now me kai and I'm so cool. You run it to a drink and I'm a tell from me, if my father drinking number. To my member, no, never be so no. When I was a sound, when I bra. Quite a mess of salmon. Mrs. Salmon, one. Me did dear, me to change chains, confused, you know, to me. She is in a good and I'm a pop like 5. Should 2 by 5. I say, hey, then I see. I never make Kajina or be near, not made my twice alcohol, but then my chelco. To me, I want to make some propose soon propose. The mother drew me down on my jammy phone inside. Me run inside the other menu of frame, many of our beginners say, I'll frame so. No one, Braben, Yakumbra Ben. You say, what? Ben. The minute Casafos, the menu you cry now for bomb it then. Don't know why Yakumbra, no why Yakumbra. Damn, you can't do no doubt. 29th March, between now April and me who my who you at the driver going so that. At once. One day at once. Who at once.
The two numbers and you know,
Mubon obey 2, Mubana Habana, Mubana, first one, I know what second one.
It's about who born is when we sound by the phone.
Yes, and we have CID. To see it in all born now when we don't know what's born. To see it in all tap in the choir, but no, we drew on the way. But Ben at the end and that spot, Okuna, born Papa, Okuna at once.
There's now a bodyguard, my MP,
Nupe, Saboba MP.
Saboba
MP, Pacha.
And the bodyguard,
Pacha.
But I say, Nipa, third, we being so not countable. Ted, Nipa, Ted, Nipa, cannot Ted, Nipa, countable.
We 2.
Yeah, but it says,
yeah, police officer, I have not taken. One about one who took our name, the MP not to quite. No, I didn't. I want to say bodyguard, Sanjanja, at table bodyguard. So no, I see a friend and I don't know by it. My chain or baby. The so called police headquarters.
Yes, yeah, Uncle Neil one.
Yes, son, Nipa 5. Almost 3, enemy about 2. And I bet now, and Bakuna original also, and I say, brother, also a point, one of Sofa and original home, your friend Yusuf. Also a power, but you never bet now, I bet not now, I now 119. The 19, and I say, Tamano Corner, your mom said Tamano Corner, one casa, escortier, Edu, Babia, no more Sahaba. Hey, to Tamana Quana, or my jay or Kawi, Babia can't see anymore.
So, we didn't be
to Kuninoa.
What's your spelling?
TIKUNI.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right, Basil, so...
Yeah, so that's Noah, who comes from the same village who comes from the same village with one of the officers, policemen, who was killed, narrating how the last time he saw him was 29th April, so he decided to pay him a visit, just so they could reminisce about, the old times, the good old times. Just when he visited, that incident happened. He said he had entered a room to pick something, and then he heard a gunshot, and then people started screaming his name, telling him that his brother had been shot outside. He came outside and then saw exactly what had happened. So yeah, it was a sad situation. He was very inconsolable, when we got there. This is him being calm and being sober, now and trying to narrate to us the events of, what happened. But another thing we learned on the ground also is that this is not the first time there's a shooting incident there. According to the co-tenants, one of the co-tenants of the deceased policeman, a man was actually shot there sometime last year, but he survived. And then when he recovered, he left the community for fear of his life. So this is the second time they're
but are they able to establish motive? What may have led to all of this as of now? What is the talk on the street?
Well, the talk on the streets, one of the co-tenants who we spoke to, who thinks that this could be a bit remotely, connected, she talked about, again, this is no information that we can independently verify. She said that there's some dispute over land. And she suspects that because the policemen are friends to one of the parties involved in the dispute, it could probably be a remote cause to what has happened. And all of this, she's saying, because she's trying to wrap her mind around what has happened at this point, trying to make sense out of it. And she says the closest thing that she can actually think of that she thinks could be a remote cause to this could be probably that dispute where some people think that they are friends to one of the parties. So probably, could be one of the reasons why, they were killed in this, gruesome manner. But again, this information we cannot independently, verify.
Right, so the police says that they're on a manhunt for the assailants.
Yes, so we were on the ground. We met the police officers, personnel from the Criminal Investigations Department. They were collecting the needed evidence that would help them, arrest the perpetrators. They were all tight-lipped. They will not give us any information. They will not speak to us. So all the information that we got were from eyewitnesses and then eyewitnesses and co-tenants of the deceased police officers.
All right, thank you very much, Masala Boba. And he was at the community and he brought us the latest information on this very unfortunate situation where 2 police officers were killed or murdered by unknown assailants. And the police say that they are on a manhunt for the individual. Now let's